What's up? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about how I learned to do car wash maintenance. So this is a big one because maintenance of course comes with the car wash. There's no deal out there where you can buy a car wash and you're not going to have to do any maintenance. So what I personally believe, like what I wanted to do is I bought the car wash, but I was going to try to do as much maintenance as I possibly could do to save money. Of course, I have a car wash mechanic and I can always call him if I need him, but I was like, I don't want to be calling him for every little thing. So one of the things that I did is the day after I bought the car wash, I called up my mechanic and I said, hey, can you find some time to meet me down at the car wash for just like an hour and show me the ins and outs of, what this does, what breaks often, what's something I need to do for preventative maintenance. Just give me a whole rundown of the place, what I need to keep an eye on, what I don't need to worry about, what I need to maintain, blah, 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 all the goods and ins and outs of the car wash. So he said, absolutely. So I met him down there. He was only there for an hour. He charges $80 an hour. So it was well worth the $80 though, because what I did is he walked through every single thing and I had a notebook and I just took notes on everything he said. I have 4 pages of notes for just stuff he was telling me. He is super good at what he does. He has a wealth of knowledge. So anything I could learn potentially there is something that I could fix myself in the event that something occurred that I didn't know what I was doing. Plus, the day after I bought the car wash, I was actually really intimidated. I walked in and I was like, what have I done? Now I go in there and I'm like turning knobs and I'm fixing stuff and I'm doing this and I'm doing that real quick, and I'm like a car wash mechanic myself. I'm like a pro. So that's the first tip, is as soon as you buy that car wash, maybe even before, you ask the seller and be like, hey, let me and my mechanic come take a look at your car wash. I just want to see what I'm getting myself into right here. So that's not a bad idea. I didn't do that. I went and jumped in head first and then called the mechanic after the fact. But you can do it that way if you want. So I highly recommend it. Great. That $80 was so worth it to have him come out, because that $80 I paid him one time. I could have learned things that saved me 5 more times in the future, $80. So you calculate 5 times 80 and I saved myself a ton of money there. So definitely do that. Another thing is, anytime that I do have to call my car wash mechanic out, which hasn't been often, I will meet him down there. I'll make sure that it's a time that he goes that I can also go. And what I'll do is I'll watch him fix this or watch him fix that or watch what he does for this or that. And I will either video him doing it or I'll write down step by step in that same notebook how to do it. That way, if this same problem occurs or this same thing breaks again, I don't have to call him back out because I already know how to do it. And if you can meet him out there and learn stuff every single time, eventually the stuff that goes wrong, the stuff that breaks, is going to be stuff that you already know how to do, and you'll know every single thing, how every single thing at that car wash works, and you'll never have to call your mechanic back out. You'll basically be a mechanic yourself. So take advantage of these people's knowledge. I mean, you're paying them after all. A friend of mine, he calls his car wash mechanic out. I actually helped him buy the car wash. He calls his mechanic out and he just unlocks the door for him and lets him lock up when he's done. But he's not learning what to do and how to do it after he does that. Me, I meet him there and I'm like, hey, I want to learn this. Tell me everything you know. And he always takes time to tell me what he's doing and stuff. And there have been a few times, even better than taking notes is actually letting you record what he's doing, because then you can kind of go back and pause it and be like, oh, I see what he did here, here, and there. So that's a great way as well. The third thing is, I don't have any affiliation with CleanRight.com. I'm not promoting them. It's just I use them for literally everything. So you probably have heard me mention them in a lot of my TikToks and YouTube videos. But CleanRight Corp, I think that's how you pronounce it, CleanRightCorp.com. That's where I buy my soaps, my spare parts. They have every single car wash thing you can imagine on their website. So there have been a couple times where I have called them up and I have described my problem to them, and they'll ask me questions, and they'll be like, is it doing this? And I'll be like, no. And they'll be like, okay, is it doing this? And I'll be like, yes. And then they'll be like, is it doing this? And I'll be like, yes. And then he or she'll say, okay, I know what it is. You need this part. I'm gonna, send this part out to you. I'll charge your credit card. It'll be at your door in 2 days. And I'll be like, great. So there have been a few times where CleanRight has actually helped me and walked me through what it is I need to troubleshoot, and then I figure it out. I order it on the phone with them, they ship it out, and then usually I can install it. If not, I'll have my mechanic come do it. Now, I don't call my mechanic out very often. There are a lot of things that I fix myself. So what I like to tell people is, if you see a problem, try to just reverse the problem and try to figure out, okay, what made this do that? And you'll be like, oh, I see, it's connected to this piece, and this piece is connected to this piece, and this piece makes this piece do this. And I know that doesn't make sense to you, but if you can just have some patience and take a little extra time to really think, okay, what makes these moving parts in this actually work, you can start to backtrack, and then you go so far and you find out what caused the problem. And I've done that so many times, it's not even funny. I have saved myself so much money by just being patient and just trying to figure out what was the step before this, what was the step before that, what was the step before that, and so on and so forth, until you can just figure out the problem. So you definitely don't want to call your mechanic out as much as you possibly can, but it is good to have. So those are ways that I do my car wash maintenance. I'm also going to make a video on how you can actually find a car wash mechanic, how to find multiple ones, how to find ones that maybe are cheaper than the other ones. So stay tuned for that, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video on how I learned how to do my car wash maintenance. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next video.